What's up, y'all? It's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. Today I'm going to talk about how the 24 years happened in the first place. So, the year was 96. And by that time in 1996, I had low-key had a drinking problem. I was like drinking every day. St. Ives was out at the time, Crooked Eye, whatever you want to call it. That was my malt liquor of choice from the hood, right? So I wasn't making the best decisions, drinking all the time. Now, there was a man named Larry Jenkins, who was a neighborhood drug dealer, big-time drug dealer, by the way. And he lived on my old street, on 56th Street, 56 in San Pedro, between San Pedro and Avalon. His grandmama and his mama lived on how they owned the house. Now, we had since moved from that house that our family had on 56th Street. So that we had been moved maybe like 5 years, 6 years, because I think we moved in like 91. So in 96, I'm drinking and whatever, so I'm like, you know what, let me slide through it. I slide through there. And by the way, they used to call me Pete in the neighborhood. Anybody who knew me over there at the time knew me as Pete. P-E-T-E. So I roll over there, just, it's popping my head through, seeing the old neighborhood, what's changed, what Mexicans moved into our house, that kind of thing. So when I get over there, everybody like, oh, Pete, what's up, old friends. I'm chopping up with them, and they say, yeah, Larry Jenkins, a dope dealer down the way. I said, yeah. They say, yeah, he using Pete as his alias now in regards to his drug deals. So my pager number was similar to his, and I got a couple of calls one time, and then before I knew it, they had dialed the wrong number. I didn't catch that at the time, and it was like, yeah, Pete. So I'm thinking they talking about me. Turns out they was talking about him. So I inadvertently found out that he was using my name doing drug deals or going as an alias as Pete, not necessarily using my name, but taking on the name as himself. So that was an interesting turn of events at the time. And at the time when I realized that, it didn't seem like that big of a deal, but it was the pivot. It was the catalyst that caused me to have to go to prison for all of that time. So fast forward a little bit. Now the year is 97. Again, I'm a drunk. I'm literally like not going to work. I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to be doing that I had done up to that point. And turns out Larry ends up getting killed. Right? Everybody assumed it was a drug deal gone bad. He had a lot of money, and some dudes is stick-up kids, right? Some dudes is jackals. So it just seemed that, it was inevitable that he met his fate. So, having had gone over there a few times, I was like, fuck it, let me see if I can help in any kind of way, because like I said, he was a good dude. I don't want this killer out there like roaming free, like, he might try to get me or something. So I found out the police is looking for leads. So I contact the cops and I say, I know him, if anything I can do to help. Now, being from the hood, this should have been like a complete sign of don't talk to the police. But at the time, I'm not in my right state of mind. I'm drinking, I'm doing all this. And plus, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I didn't kill Larry. So I didn't see how this would come back to bite me in the end. But lo and behold, it did. So remember when I told you that him taking on my alias, or him taking on Pete as an alias for him to do drug deals. So after I contacted them and said, is there anything I do to help? They find his pager, or they unlock his pager, and they contact all of his contacts on his phone. Now because I had contacted them first, they knew about Pete being my alias, and they knew about my connection to Larry and all that. Used to live on the street. So when they opened his pager and they found all his connections, and his people on his phone was saying, Well, I don't know Larry. I only know Pete. Right? This led the same cops back to me. And they're saying, how is your name coming up in this investigation? Now, if you've ever watched any crime show, if you've ever seen, what's that boy that killed his wife in the marina? You know, all of these people say, you know, officer, is anything I can do to help? You know, I just want the killer caught, and it turned out they was the killer, right? So in the cops' mind, they thinking that I'm that guy that contacted them to throw them off of my scent because I really had something to do with it. And it only perpetuated their thinking by knowing that I went by an alias, Pete, and when they're investigating his murder, there's people saying this number belonged to Pete. So now in their mind, you know, cop detective mind, they're thinking, this guy is trying to explain how come his name is coming up in an investigation, and or they're thinking this was his page, right? Because you got to understand, these are cops. They're interested in busting people by any means necessary. So now I've literally stepped in quicksand and don't know. Like I can look back at that time now and say that was crazy. I should have done X, Y, and Z. Da da da. But I can also look back and say, oh crap. When I contacted them and told them I'm interested in helping, that was me putting my toe in the quicksand. When they unlocked his Larry Jenkins' cell phone and they talking to people on his cell phone, they're saying, oh, this number doesn't belong to Larry Jenkins, it belonged to Pete. That was quicksand. Now I'm sinking in quicksand and don't even know it. I'm on the street chilling and still getting beers at St. Ives. But I don't even know it. I'm sinking in quicksand and don't even know it. So fast forward, they contact me and they say, hey, we need to talk to you. But by this time, when they said they wanted to talk to me, they've already made up in their mind, I am the guy who killed Larry Jenkins. They have a few scenarios, a few theories of why, right? One is that they feel like I killed him because he took on my name. My name has been Pete the whole time living in the hood. Now all of a sudden you're going by Pete to do your drug deals, or you know, you pick the Pete as the alias. And in the cop's mind, I feel some kind of way about him doing that, and I'm going to kill you. So I don't realize all of this at the time, but this is their thinking, and my dumb ass is just walking right into the quicksand and then sinking further into the quicksand. So they say, we want to talk to you. They give me an interview room. They asking me all of these questions. And again, not understanding that I'm walking in the quicksand, I'm doing whatever it takes to dig myself deeper and deeper, not realizing. So I say, well, you know, I know that he did drug deals. I can put my ear to the street, see what I can find out. And they're like, yeah, put your ear to the street. But the whole time it's like a hook in a fish's mouth. They're trying to reel me in. So they're playing on my eagerness to want to help them, and they realize this is the guy anyway, so all we need to do is just keep him coming back. They don't want me to help them. The fact that I'm not running from them is the only thing that they're interested in. And I don't know to run from them because in my mind, I haven't done any fucking thing wrong. I'm trying to help you. Why would I run? But I would run because cops shouldn't be talked to. I need a lawyer, you know. All of that innocent until proven guilty shit is not true. When you're black, I was guilty until I could prove myself innocent, but I wasn't thinking like that at the time. It was really the alcohol thinking, to be honest with you. So they met with me 2 times, right? And what they done was they painted me in a corner each and every single time so that it made it impossible for me to stop talking to them, and also it made it impossible for me to say that I didn't know nothing about this because I knew that he was a drug dealer. I knew that he had Pete as an alias, right? But this is tactics that these cops have used. Like, I've done 24 years. I've done the time. I've done somebody else's time for a murder that I didn't commit. But these are, now that I look back on it, I know that these are the tactics they use. They manipulate, they interrogate, and they interview you in a way to where you start feeling guilty even if you didn't fucking do nothing. Right? And that's exactly what they did to me. They put me in such a mental mind state where I was scared to death that I had killed Larry and I knew I didn't. But these are the tactics they use. Ironically, some of the tactics they used on me in 1997 September for the murder of Larry Jenkins to get me to confess to something that they knew I didn't do, but they needed to close the case, right? Some of the tactics they use, they're not even allowed to use anymore because they've been banned, or the federal government or some court has ruled this is unconstitutional. These are against, because they're playing mind games, and these are experts at, psychiatric, abilities that are beyond a regular human being's ability. These detectives are. So they ran circles around me because I was naive. Now I've come to find out that these same techniques and these same tactics that they use on me are banned. No cop in the future can ever do what they did to me because it was so wrong. That's notwithstanding, because when at the time it was legit, right? So fast forward. So what they would do is they would ask questions, and then they would literally get you to say something that was incriminating, and then say, "Why did you just say something incriminating?" This is how it went. They would say, "So I'm gonna say something, and I want you to repeat it, Lanye." I said, "Okay." So they said, "I have a blue car, and then I drove down this street." Like, "Now what did I just say?" And I go, "Well, I have a blue car, and I drove down this street." Now keep in mind, they just asked me to repeat that. So once I repeat it, they go, "Why did you drive down that street in your blue car?" Right? So these are these sorts of mind games that they play to where now you're like, "Wait a minute, I don't have a blue car. I just said no, you just said you have a blue car. You just said you drove down that street." And now your wheels are spinning like, what the fuck is going on here? These are the techniques that they use to paint me in a corner, to say some things that they knew weren't true, but it was coming out of my mouth, so it sounded like it must be true, and or it sounded like a confession. Yo, I got a lot to say on this subject matter, but this is where I'm going to stop for right now. But I want y'all to know something. The struggle is real. I did 24 years for somebody else's crime, and the techniques that they use to get me to do that time for somebody else's crime have been banned. So I've never really got a chance to go into the in-depth interrogation stage. I never got a chance to go through the in-depth prison stage or the county jail stage or even the court stage. But I'm going to go into all of that in this part of this series because it's important for me to get this out there. My family's saying I got a lawsuit. Maybe I do. I'm not going to turn nothing down, right? But if it can happen, we need to make it happen through documenting this part of the story. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, yo, it's your boy Lanye, man. 24 years free. I'm just telling my truth. No extras. Until next time.